Hello.
We are back.
So back.
Well, what do we need?
Yeah, you want to make some magic happen?
Yeah.
$21,300 in 1 hour has become $21,925.
So that leaves us about 2,000-ish for what's left on the matching.
Yep, $2,000 can still be matched.
Yes,
Let's go. We still got time.
that's right.
Amazing. We were
It
talking
is.
before we come live, Jack Beckbrunk's over here counting us down, and we're just like, but that when we considered this idea after watching Camp Bethel and they were talking to me at OMA last year, we thought, let's aim for 10,000. That seems doable. The guy said
Yeah.
10% of your budget.
Yeah. So we thought, 10,000, a little more maybe. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, the power of community is incredible. It just speaks to, all parts. The body of Christ is not alive unless all parts. And I think just every person contributes life to what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, you guys.
It's amazing.
It really is amazing. We're going to share with you in a little bit a video that is old. I think it's from 2023. But the story and what it can speak to for all of us tonight, I think, is still very true. When the Worthington Church of the Brethren in southern Minnesota closed a couple of years ago and had money to share, they gave life to all sorts of different things, and one of them was the camp. So one day, Ida Van Westen, who was an anchoring member in that church, just called out of the blue at camp and said, if we gave you $100,000, what would you do with it? And I was like,
What?
we can probably know what to do with $100, but we don't even know what that kind of money is at camp, and we were just a small place. And it was a life-changing gift for the camp, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a gift that gave life to our deck. It was a gift that gave life to putting the top on that stage, the patio beneath the deck.
Yeah.
It kind of just keeps rolling, and there's still money left from that 100,000 because all that labor has been carried out by
Volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers, and who are very skilled, though. I mean, these are not your, people like me showing up, like Steven, and my Matt and Paul Neer, who really can build something, with bridge beams and make it stand for a lifetime. They said we could land a helicopter on that deck. That's an idea for next year.
There we go.
If you say it can happen, let's make it happen. My cousin is a helicopter pilot.
No way.
Yeah. He would do it.
Oh, dear.
That'd be so funny.
That would be funny.
But what I love about what Worthington's giving and just their real spirit of just giving it away and allowing life to happen is, I think we are the same at camp. Just like the scholarships, we never say no to a kid.
Right.
Never. We give it away. And when we receive a gift here, we always make more of it. We receive your telephone poles, and they become zip lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you even think in the bedrooms here, we had to finish out the trim when you redid the drywall, and it was literally boards from what? Ivester that you had saved?
Yeah, it was from the basement of Ivester.
Go back up.
From 30 years ago or something.
Yeah, so just because we have this one day giving with these fancy cameras, we never forget who we are, and nothing is wasted here. And the same is true for your giving.
Yeah.
That we're very careful with what we spend.
I mean, there's always things that you can only do with money. I mean, you've got insurance.
Air conditioners.
You've got, air conditioners. You've got, certain equipment that you got to replace. And so there's things that money is the only option.
Mm-hmm.
But we do like the volunteers and the time that people give. And if the people that don't have the money to give, there's a lot of time people invest here.
Oh yeah, and that's endless. Just like money, to be human is one means for us to live, is in our world, is to have money. It's a tool. But at a place like camp, really what we operate on is relationship collateral, and we need your time.
Mm-hmm.
And the more time you can give, the better, because as you know, humans have endless needs.
Yeah.
Yep. And really, one thing we can excel at certain times is just having enough people around, so those children who need somebody to be right beside them, to sit with me, to listen to me, to follow me around all day, because I need that kind of reassurance and support. We do our best to make that possible here. So never be discouraged if one way of giving does not work for you. Please choose another, and we will make good use of whatever you can share.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose in a way to honor what Worthington did for us, and as you'll see, the congregation that took over their building, as well as others in that area, and just the spirit of generosity that continues to carry us and others. We'd love to share that video with you again. Enjoy.
Years ago, I kept thinking, are we just here to bury people? Are we staying on just to bury people? I really wondered that. Are we growing spiritually as a church when our membership gets down to 11 people? That was a thought that I've had, for the last few years. It's hard, but yet you have to move on, and we have to keep reminding ourselves that this will be okay. This will be okay. I'm Ida Van Westen from the Worthington Church of the Brethren. I grew up on a farm about 6 miles away from our church, and I was born and raised in this church. So it's been here for a long time. It was 8 years ago that we were sitting in our entryway talking before church started, and here there was 4 people of color walking in. And in their broken English, they says, "Hi, we were just wondering about this church, and if we could use your church." And they were just saying that they were looking for places to worship. And it was a group from Guatemala. And so I said, "Sure, come on, I'll show you around." So I did. We took them upstairs, and we took them in the sanctuary, took them in the basement. And I said, "Well, we'll have to talk about this as a church." So the next week we met, and we said, "Yeah, we could do that." It was really fun when they were using church at 8:30 in the morning and did their church, and we all come, and they're coming out of church and the sanctuary, and here we're all standing around in the entryways, and they all come down and greet us and shaking hands. All the little kids and all the other people and greeting us, and that's how you really get to know them. And then they became active. We did our church basement. We took off all the old tile floor. They came to help us, which we needed their help. They were really good workers. So they helped us do that, and they did landscaping outside. We didn't know they were even going to do that. It needed it, but they just did it. They come to our church cleaning day, annual cleaning day. They come and they do that. They invite us to their baptisms, and he was holding the Bible there. It is the exact same scriptures that we use. It's interesting to see how much we have in common. One time we were over visiting our daughter, and I get these phone calls. They said, "Ida, what's going on at your church?" I said, "Oh, well, we're not home, but I know they're having this," I call it a convention, something that they had. They had 10 porta potties at the church. That's how many people. They had like 400 people there. Half a mile north of the church that day, there was a house fire. We get home, and we didn't say nothing much to Christian Assembly, We got a thank you from the fire department. Oh, it says, "Thank you for serving us the hot coffee and the warm bread." I said, "This isn't us. We didn't do this. This was a Christian Assembly who did this." And that's who they are. And that's what warms your heart when you see what they're doing. And people notice them. The neighbors notice them. And that's fun. We were blessed, 20 years ago. A former member of our church had left an estate to us. And when we got that estate, sometimes I think, boy, getting this money is good or bad. We knew at the time that our membership was dwindling, and it's just hard, Sometimes you get more money than, do we have to stay active and really keep busy and doing our work? So at first, my personal thoughts was like, is this a good or bad thing? We were talking about this for 3 years. You kind of talk about the church and if we close, and it was always if we close, and then it got to be, oh, when we close, because you could see it happening, that it was going to be when it closes. You know, we knew that there's not many of us in church. There's not many workers to keep the church updated and keep it in working condition and do the mission of the church. So we have to be logical in our thinking when we're deciding closing the church. And once you make that decision that yes, we're going to disorganize, and then you get thinking of what we need to do from here on out and what our mission is from here on out. It was a year after they were using our church that they asked us about buying the church. And we said we were not ready yet at that time. And once in a while it would be brought up and we were saying, you know, just this isn't the time yet, this isn't the time. And then pretty soon it came the time. The summer of 2020, right in the midst of COVID stuff, we wanted to meet with these guys at Christian Assembly and tell them the good news that we could do this if they still wanted it. So we had a meeting outside, 5 feet apart, under the beautiful lawn, beautiful tree. Oh, their faces, just the smiles on their faces, they were so thrilled. And that was so exciting for them to be there. He says, you don't know what this means to us. They were just so grateful. And so that's what made it easier going into things. It was a sad time, it was a hard time, but life goes on. We knew we didn't want the building sitting empty, so we have somebody to fill it for the same purpose as what we were there for. And we knew that we were for sure going to give it to the district. We were going to give it to the denomination. We knew that because that's who we were. But we also knew that camp always was in our church history. You know, we had campers coming here and lots of people went there. I called Betsy from camp and I says, we're thinking about donating $100,000 to the camp and wondering if you think that could be useful, if you would find some use for that money. And oh, Betsy, there was a pause in that phone. I could just about see her face, so excited. So it was so fun to do that and to be able to do that. And the work that they're doing at camp now, oh my goodness, the changes that they're making. Camp is a wonderful place and hits lots of people, lots of families, lots of children. And that's what's important too, that they can do lots of work within the camp. This is a good gift that we can do, and we're so happy that we could do this and help them out. Our last Sunday was Palm Sunday, and we had a communion service, Love, Feast, and Communion. And we decided on Palm Sunday, because that was the Holy Week. Christ died, was buried, and he rose again. He rose on Easter Sunday. So we wanted the joy of rising Easter Sunday morning and going to a church and continuing the work that Jesus wants us to do. Personally, we're going to another church and getting very involved and active in that church because that's what we know. That's what I know, is being active and involved in a church. And I can't go to another church and just sit in the pew. That's not me. You can be sorrowful and, sad that your church is closing. That's real and that happens. But yet you have to go on the other side. If you dwell on that all the time, that doesn't help you grow. Sometimes ends come, just as in life, ends come sometimes to life. But yet life can spring forth lots of new things. And that's what we're seeing now. The joy and the blessings that we see of all of these good things that are happening. We have lots of blessings in the past. We've grown from the past. We've learned from our history within the church. But we still have a lot of work to do, not as the Worthington Church of the Brethren, but as individuals in Christ's kingdom. We have a lot of work to do.
Hey, we're back. Where do we go from there?
I don't know. I think it's that story for me is always centering and humbling, you know, to remember like days like today when we're raising all this money at camp, like we love to see things grow and become, you know, that have that green sort of energy to it. But there is so much beauty and grace and with the letting go and truly allowing something else to live. But yeah, I never tire of that story.
Yeah, same.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's put it on the board.
Put it on the board. Thank you to Parker in Madison, Wisconsin. To Lyle and Marlene in McPherson, Kansas. Our thanks goes out to Teresa in Monroe. We got a lot of love from Monroe today, didn't we?
We did.
We really did. Thank you to Sue in Eldora. And also to Carol in Eldora. A lot of Eldora love today too, our locals. We love you back, Eldora. Okay, we will be back with our final live at 9. We will draw off with a quilt then too. But just keep in mind, we will, you know, we will allow you to give through the night. So, I mean, if you're up at 2 and you're overcome, do it.
Yeah, and if you want to comment, 9 o'clock's your last time.
Yeah, we
For the
won't
live,
respond
for
to
the
you
live.
until tomorrow.
That's right.
Okay, you guys, see you in an hour.
Bye.
Bye.